compact SUVs are all the rage in the Indian auto segment. Well, everyone wants one. The last few years have seen the segment grow. And how? From Koreans, Europeans to even British Chinese origins, they all now have a strong presence in this particular space. And the volumes certainly speak for the success of the category as a whole. The only ones missing in action today are the Japanese. But let's face it, the Maruti Suzuki S-Cross and the Nissan Kicks are slightly outdated and less relevant now in the compact SUV space. And so our boys are out on the quest to find which of these top SUVs actually qualifies to be the best in the segment. However, our boys don't seem to be agreeing on one car just yet.
So guys, I have got the segment best sellers with me, and they are that for a reason. Both the Creta and Seltos, they drive really well. Both are properly premium on the inside, and just look at them. They have got that quintessential SUV looks just spot on.
Well, you talk about driving, and how can you not mention the Europeans? They are the gold standard when it comes to driving. Yeah, they may not be quintessentially SUV, but when it comes to funky and elegant bits, well, that's exactly what the younger generation wants, and these SUVs offer them in spades.
1 second, you're talking about the younger generation, so clearly millennials and Gen Z do not care that much about design and performance than they do about features, and the Astor gets that in bucket load.
So friends, there's no point arguing. The best way to do this is to just go and do a comparo and decide on the ultimate winner.
To see which one of these offers the most value for your money.
So, without wasting any more time, let's get on with it.
We have 5 parameters through 8 categories, including exterior and interior design, space, performance, ride and handling, safety, features, and of course, value for money. Based on these categories, we will be measuring each of these compact SUVs to choose the ultimate winner. The Kia Seltos is our reigning champion, but the last time it won, it only had the Hyundai Creta to beat. So can it still defend its title? While design is a personal preference, some styles are more conventional than others. Both the Kia Seltos and Hyundai Creta are well accepted in the market. But it's a love it or hate it affair with the Creta. The design language is polarizing, but that has hardly dented the segment leaders' sale. In comparison, the Seltos arrives with a sharp and well-balanced design. It has definitely aged well and even now looks more contemporary than some of the newer offerings. Some might say that the MG Astor is not the best looking car, but the unconventional design works in its favor with the simple character lines and crossover stance. But what also works in its favor is the fact that it's the widest, longest and tallest car here. Yes, looks can be deceptive. But when it comes to keeping it simple and effective, the Europeans managed to do it better. The Volkswagen Taigun and the Skoda Kushaq share the same underpinnings but couldn't be more different in appearance. Simple lines, boxy stance, and just the right amount of chrome. You won't go wrong with either of them. In terms of proportions, the Creta appears as the largest SUV, but the Seltos and Astor stand out with a strong road presence. The Taigun and Kushaq come across as a tad bit small in comparison and a whole 100mm shorter than the Astor. Very well then, the Astor and the Seltos are certainly the best looking cars here and score the top points for the right styling and proportions. All these models feel premium and there is a generous amount of soft touch material across the cabin. The Creta and Seltos feel a notch up with the way the cabin is executed. Both SUVs have their own set of unique features. The Creta gets a full-size panoramic sunroof and the 1.4 turbo gets paddle shifters. The dashboard offers a neat and clutter-free design. The Kia Seltos is well finished. The plastics, textures and even the layout feel premium, but the Creta does have the upper hand. The Taigun and Kushaq keep things classy with straight lines and large screens, but the soft touch materials are missing. The Kushaq comes across as a more executive, while the Taigun's interior is more vibrant, especially with that red ambient lighting. The build is tough and sturdy on both cars, but they do miss out on the plush feel that the rivals have to offer.
Now speaking of plush, the cabin of the MG Astor is one of the nicest places to be in. All the elements are quite tastefully done and when they come together looks quite premium. For instance, take the soft touch points on the dashboard, around the center console and even on the toe pads. The material used is very top notch, it looks very premium. We also like the fact that the red sangria scheme that you get on the turbo trim looks very appealing, it looks very premium, gives a very positive vibe to the cabin. Also, we need to mention the fact that the massive panoramic sunroof is the only one in the segment. The minimal use of chrome across the cabin keeps things very simple yet elegant.
The seats on the Seltos is on the firmer side but offer good cushioning and support. But the Cretas, they are easily the most comfortable. But then the sense of space. In the Seltos you feel it better, while the Creta, it looks sportier. Mainly because of this all black cabin and red elements you get.
Now on the Kushaq and the Taigun, the front seats are well bolstered, they have a nice fit to them and it's a nice and snug fit. You get good back support, lateral support, great fit altogether. But for somebody who has a wider girth, they may not be the widest seats that you're looking for in this comparison. However, when you're talking about ergos, the steering wheel on the Kushaq and the Taigun do come with rake and reach adjustability and that gives it an edge over the competition.
On paper, the Astor has the best proportions in the segment and the same translates inside. The 6-way electrically adjustable powered seats make it easy to find the appropriate position. The steering on the Astor, Seltos and Creta is adjustable only for height and not for reach. But you get both these adjustments on the Taigun and the Kushaq. But which SUV can totally seat 3 in comfort? Good thing our boys come in all shapes and sizes to find out. First up is the Taigun, which can seat 2 comfortably, but 3 becomes a crowd. It's a similar case with the Kushaq too. Both cars offer the least width in the segment and it shows. Things are fairly more comfortable on the Kia Seltos with ample headroom and legroom on offer. But the shoulders do brush against each other. But things really get spacious. On the Creta, the light colors and the panoramic sunroof make for an airier cabin and it does get a brownie point for that.
So backseat comfort is what you crave for. The Creta scores better. Though even the Astor does not far behind. Guys, what do you think?
Yeah, we agree actually.
Gets my thumbs up.
And while we are talking about space, let's take a look at the boot as well. The Astor gets the biggest of them all, 470 litres, followed by 433 litres on the Creta and Seltos. The Taigun and Kushaq underscore here with a relatively smaller 385 litre boot space. The MG Astor has another win up its sleeve then, followed by the Creta and the Seltos. The Europeans have some catching up to do then. So far, the Astor leads on design, space and comfort. Nevertheless, things get interesting from here on as we move to the next chapter in our comparison that could make the Koreans and Germans shine. While the Astor gets the smallest engine here, it makes the same power as the Creta and Seltos with their 1.4 litre turbo units. However, the Taigun Kushaq duo looks stronger on paper with their 1.5 litre TSI engines, making 10 horses more than the other three. Power figures aside, all the 5 compact SUVs are extremely different when it comes to the drive.
Now the Astor is the only one in this shootout to get a 3-pot setup paired to its 1.3 litre turbocharged petrol unit. Now the power delivery is quite linear and is respectable between the 1500 to 2000 RPM band. The 6-speed torque converter again is the only one in this segment, is decent. The gear shifts are decent, they do not have that much of lag and they do pick up quite quickly. However, things get interesting when you are on the move. If you want to sprint or if you want to take a sudden overtake, then that gearbox has a bit of lag. However, you can control it through the manual gears as well. You can control the ratios through it. But you know what would have helped? Paddle shifters.
The Hyundai Creta and Kia Seltos essentially are sister units with different skins. But the Creta gets only a 7-speed DCT, while the Seltos gets both a 6-speed manual and a 7-speed DCT gearbox. There's also the option of the 1.5 litre naturally aspirated petrol motor on both SUVs with a 6-speed manual and CVT transmissions. Both the Koreans are quite evenly matched in outright performance. The turbo engines have a strong boost, which is reassuring and joyous, but the major difference is felt in their dynamics. If performance is what you crave, then the Volkswagen Taigun and the Skoda Kushaq are your top picks.
The Taigun and the Kushaq are easily one of the best driver's cars in the segment, and with this 1.5 litre turbo engine, it is the best engine that you can get your hands on, especially in this comparison. The engine just pulls and pulls and pulls and is extremely responsive, and all that power really comes to fruition when you're behind the wheel. And there is a bit of lag in the lower end, but when it comes to the mid-range, that is between 2500 RPM to all the way till 6000 RPM, that's where this engine shines, and it will really keep the enthusiast in you very happy. But you also get the 1 litre turbocharged engine on the Taigun and the Kushaq, and this is an equally potent engine to offer. It compares against the 1.5 litre naturally aspirated engine on the Creta, Seltos and even the Astor, and it really performs well. In fact, the whole Taigun and Kushaq's size makes a big impression on the driving dynamics. Because of the smaller footprint, it's also an equally easy car to drive and maneuver, and that really changes your driving experience.
The DSG is easily the slickest automatic gearbox in this comparison and offers seamless shifts, which puts it substantially ahead of the Astor, while the Creta and Seltos do come reasonably close. The 1-litre TSI does get a 6-speed torque converter along with manual gearbox options. In the city, you will like the 1.4-litre motor on the Creta and Seltos for its low-end power delivery, while the Astor offers a mix of power and comfortability. But the Europeans, boy oh boy, they are the most entertaining of the lot. All 5 cars are tuned differently for handling, and it really depends on what you are looking for when selecting a compact SUV.
The Kia Seltos is the sportier Korean here. The suspension setup is on the stiffer side and it is ready to take on the corners, it is ready to take on those twisties, and you enjoy pushing it hard. The steering feedback too, it's very direct, it weighs up accurately, and you just love driving it on the open roads. But that suspension, it takes a slight toll on the ride quality because all those thuds and bumps, they are felt strongly by the passengers inside the cabin.
That's an area where the Hyundai Creta takes all the right boxes.
The Creta has a soft edge. Actually, it strikes a very well measured balance between ride and handling, and though the suspension setup is on the softer side, the body rolls are well contained. In terms of dynamics, it might be a bit less aggressive, but it feels more comfortable and settled on our Indian roads. The steering feedback, that similar to the Seltos, but in terms of ride quality, this one feels plusher.
Instead of being a sporty crossover, the MG Astor has been tuned towards comfort. The ride quality is plush, especially at lower speeds, and really glide through bad roads with ease, but only if you drive at double-digit speeds. The triple-digit experience, however, is not confidence-inspiring, making it unnerving around corners. A heavy foot will also upshoot Astor's fuel intake, not conducive in the current situation. However, the chunkier 215-section Continental tires surprised us by offering significant grip and works well with the all-disc brakes, cutting off speed meticulously and provides a good bite.
The Taigun and the Kushaq are undoubtedly the best driver's cars in this segment, and even then, I do think the Taigun has a slight edge over the Kushaq. The engine and the chassis calibration just works so well, and even around the bend, this is a more rewarding car to drive. The steering feedback is great, it weighs up nicely, and overall the experience is really excellent when you are driving the car. But if you drive back to back, when you drive the Astor from the same segment, or even the Creta, which are more comfortable cars, they don't have a very enthusiastic space, that's where the Taigun really shines, because you do realize how well calibrated this car is for your driving pleasure. And even in terms of ride quality, both the Taigun and Kushaq deliver in spades. Yes, the ride quality is on the firm side, but even then it gobbles up potholes with absolute ease and is a very sturdy car to drive, and that really makes your driving experience excellent.
The Taigun and Kushaq also offer better braking ability despite the lack of rear disc brakes. While the Creta, Seltos and the Astor offer all 4 disc brakes but don't offer the same confidence as the Europeans. On the safety front, all compact SUVs get the essentials, including 6 airbags, ABS with EBD, ESC, Hill Start Assist, and child seat ISOFIX mounts. The Seltos benefits from front parking sensors, while the Astor comes with a 360-degree parking camera as part of its long list of safety aids. Speaking of which, the Astor offers level 2 autonomous driving or ADAS that brings features like adaptive cruise control, forward collision warning, lane keep assist and automatic emergency braking, all segment first features. Our personal favorites are pedestrian detect and speed sign recognition. It's also the only car here to get hill descent control. As far as the global NCAP crash test results go, the Kia Seltos and the Hyundai Creta scored a disappointing 3 stars for adult occupant protection, while the Seltos received an even lower 2-star rating for child occupant protection. The Creta fared better in comparison, receiving 3 stars. The Taigun, Kushaq and the Astor are yet to be crash tested by global NCAP. On the features front, all SUVs get automatic LED headlamps, cornering lights, push-button start-stop, climate control with rear AC vents, cruise control as well as Apple CarPlay and Android Auto connectivity. The Taigun gets a digital instrument console, which the Kushaq misses out on, while both cars get manually adjustable front seats. Ventilation is specific to the Kushaq, which is a bummer. But both SUVs come with active cylinder technology on the 1.5-litre TSI, which is a segment first. Hyundai and Kia go all out when it comes to prepping their cars with features. You do get power adjustable driver's seat, ventilation and premium Bose sound system on both SUVs. But the Seltos also offers blind view monitor, which comes really handy in tight traffic conditions. While the Creta does one up with an electronic parking brake and a panoramic sunroof. Both cars also get the PM 2.5 air filter. The Astor is pretty loaded too and comes with that quirky AI assistant on the dashboard. It isn't the most responsive, but is a fun addition. However, the Astor misses out on an auto-dimming mirror and wireless charging, a minor inconvenience, right? But the massive panoramic sunroof will be loved by all in the family. For the audiophiles, the Seltos' Bose sound system is the best in the business, followed by the Kushaq, which offers a better sound quality. All 5 compact SUVs come with connected car technology, and you can monitor them and analyze driving data using the apps on your smartphones. The MG Astor enters at a lower entry price point against its rivals, but Hyundai and Kia surely give the money's worth with a slew of variants to choose from. Kia is also the only automaker that has rejigged the variant lineup consistently, trying to add more value to the Seltos range and adding more features to the lower variants. If waiting times are something that you're keen to know, the Creta definitely has the higher demand, with a time of about 4 to 5 months as per dealers, while the Seltos has a waiting time of 2 to 3 months. The Astor in the non-ADAS guise can be delivered in about 15 to 20 days, while the ADAS version has a waiting period of 3 to 4 months. The Taigun and Kushaq also have a waiting period of a month each.
The compact SUV space is huge and each of these SUVs can coexist with ease. The Creta and Seltos are brilliant packages, bummer they don't do well on safety. The Taigun and Kushaq, brilliant driver's cars, but could do with a little more space. And the Astor, good on comfort, great on tech wizardry. You won't go wrong with either of them.
So it really depends upon what you're looking for in the market, performance, comfort, or just the tech wizardry.
And we had so many parameters to check all of these factors, and it's time to look at the final leaderboard so that we know which is the ultimate SUV.
And the compact SUV that wins this comparison is the Kia Seltos. With looks that are sharp as ever, a cabin that's loaded on every front, and a drive that keeps the enthusiast and the family man happy. The Seltos yet again aces on several fronts and becomes the winner of our big comparison.